So what we saw in the last quarterfinals, guys, it was Pulaski Polski PL, which we are now able to say in one sentence without like having a brain fart, versus Extraordinary Gentlemen. Very one-sided. Pulaski PL doing an extremely good job of just cranking that early game aggression, showing up to the game, and just completely taking control and owning it, not giving Extraordinary Gentlemen any chance to have any breathing room or coming back. We saw 2 50-minute primes, 2-0 best of 3, and now we're getting into Team Synergy versus Paradox Kings.
This should also be a good game. Synergy, as I mentioned before, have been around the block a number of times, and extremely strong lineup as well. They have managed to get Tokflit, formerly of Oxygen EU, now here playing in the mid lane for Synergy, and that might just be what they need to take their team up to the next level. I mean, Tok has proven in a lot of previous tournaments what he is capable of doing, has been playing incredibly well, and is one of the strongest mid laners out there at the moment. And I want to see what this team together, I don't think they've been together for too long.
Yeah, they've just reformed too, right?
Yeah, it's really recent, but it's going to be interesting to see how far they actually managed to do. And if they are capable of taking down, I think the main contenders for this tournament are Think Twice right now.
I think Think Twice actually had their opponents forfeit on them, is the rumor, is the word I've been hearing. So means Think Twice is doing some pretty good work around there if someone's actually managed to forfeit, or if they made someone forfeit. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about Synergy, Paradox Kings. Let's get right into the draft.
Let's hop straight into it, and it's going to be interesting to see what these teams prioritize, what they want to get picked in their first couple of picks, and how that plans out for them.
Okay, so here we go. First pick and first ban of the game is going to be Team Synergy, banning out the Bellica, which is becoming very common in the past few PCLs. Bellica being such a strong character, having a lot of damage, a lot of control, a lot of zoning, and CC. Paradox Kings is going to be their first ban of Sevarog. And that's going to
taking away. It's a denial of the champ more than anything. Obel loves to play things like Grux and Sevarog. It removes one of the two from the mix, but that does mean they need to try and get it in the first rotation, because I suspect Synergy might not first pick it, but they'll definitely get it on their second rotation.
Yeah, so Synergy is going to be picking up the Howitzer for the first pick. Paradox Kings following up with the Yin Decker. This is opening up Grux for Obel Pixa, as you were saying.
Yeah, but they do get Decker. I mean, the carry might not have been the best pick to secure this early on. There are a lot of carries left open for them to choose from, and I'm a bit surprised by that choice. It does leave the Grux straight into the hands of Synergy, which they're not going to be too upset about, and they still have things like Twin Blast. Emrak, everyone knows Emrak has a huge loving of that character. He'll play it. If he gets a chance to pick Twin Blast, he will pick it. Even when Twin Blast everyone thought was weak, Emrak would still be playing it. And now that he's really strong, they're just handing it to him potentially for free.
I mean, we'll see, because Yin is the highest damaging carry in the game right now. So we'll see how this progresses. But Synergy's next two picks are going to be the Grux and the Narbash. So they don't have the Decker to combo with the Howitzer. However, they do have the next best thing in the Narbash. Very similar kits, the same affinities. So they have the access to the same cards. Bleh. And then Paradox Kings is going to follow up with a pick of Moragesh and Kwang. No frontline coming out of Paradox Kings right now.
I'm actually surprised by Synergy. They went for that support pick instead of maybe securing an offlaner. They maybe could have secured something like a Kwang for themselves a bit sooner if they wanted a Kwang. That was a potential option, because they don't need to necessarily pick the Narbash just yet. Deck has already been picked from the side of Paradox Kings, so you could have tried to secure your offlaner. The carry can be held off for ages as well, because Yin's been picked. So the ordering mix is up for discussion, but I suspect they're still going to be happy with whatever they get in the final picks.
Okay, and going into Synergy, they're last picking the Countess and the Twin Blast. So this is the same team comp we saw out of Pulaski.
Palazzo Zapolsky PL does manage to get. It's the same comp we saw in the previous game, by the way. Synergy gonna probably pull it out, hopefully to the same similar effect they did as well.
Okay, so in here we go. Paradox Kings last picking Chimera. This is a mirror match from last game. Actually, a mirror match.
No, it's not, because there was an Iggy in the last match.
There wasn't. We had an Iggy instead of a Decker. But aside from that, the team comps for both games are very, very similar. And
Chimera being sort of the last jungler available to really pick. There's no Sevrog, there's no Quang.
You're not going to like what I'm going to say, but there is a jungler who's a frontliner that would have very well been able to help this team out.
I think Chimera's the right pick here. I would have probably gone with Chimera over anything else, considering what is left.
It's the
that or potentially take Quang in the jungle. I would have taken, and potentially take another offlaner.
He's just ignoring me. He's not even acknowledging me. No satisfaction whatsoever. I'm ready to get into the game. What about you?
So am I.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, and go. Quarterfinals number 2 in PCL EU now underway. Introducing the teams, we do have on Team Synergy, Mort is going to be the support on Narbash. Emrak is going to be Twin Blast. Talkflit in the mid lane with that red howitzer. Nick Eagle in the off lane with Countess. Obel Pixa is going to be the Grux into the jungle.
And on the other side of the team, we have Cosmonautis on that Yin, FPG on the Quang Danger Base, on that Muragesh, Malohakai on the Deca, and Cultis on that Chimera.
Collits, I think.
Collits.
Our Collits.
Alrighty, straight off the bat, people are warding. Nothing much is happening. They've just placed their wards. They've recalled but from both sides. And probably just going to see standard laning here. I don't suspect we're going to see any real action unless Obelpia manages to grab that green buff and go for an early game gank with it, or if he goes for more of a farm-heavy style of jungling.
Now, one thing I find interesting is because the layout of the actual jungle has changed, that means I feel like there are different paths to take for how you clear your first jungle camps. We see the Chimera going for the one closest to the river bus. Meanwhile, Grux is actually at the ones closest to his duo lane. And we'll...
Yeah. The reasoning behind this is just where you end at the end of it, because it's on the 3-minute mark. This is a jungle route you take if you want to get to level 3 at 3 minutes. So you get the 2 camps, and then you get a couple of 1-drop camps as they spawn when you go around after this green, and it gets you level 3 perfectly for the river buff. However, there's the other routes where you can go for a green and then go for a gank incredibly early, which is also really effective as well if you have a character like a Chimera.
Yeah, the routes I like to take, I like to see, I take the one closest to base, then the green buff, and then I run across to the one closest to duo lane, and then the last one I take is the 3 camp closest to river buff, so I can just rotate right over. In the mid lane, there's already a fight, however, as Talkflit manhandles onto the Muragesh. Trying to use her hive to get some peel off and some damage won't be enough.
Incredibly strong play from Talkflit. Just taking a 1v1 against the Muragesh, which a lot would argue you should be able to do as a howitzer, and that would just imply that Muragesh was slightly out of position there. The hive, incredibly potent ability the first couple of levels, should be pushing Talkflit out of the snake.
Riverbus are spawning in just a second as we do see Chimera rotating into the mid lane to try and help out. He's still level 2. Talkflit is right there. Obel Pixa is right behind him. So close to a 2v2 in the lane. As Purple Buff is spawning right now, Obel's going for it. He will be able to get it uncontested. While Talkflit rotates over to the black buff, and no one is stopping him either. So 0 effort coming out of the jungler and the mid laner to prevent the team from getting the buff. And they're going to rotate over. Talkflit picking up 1 as they're now going into the left lane. This could be trouble for Cosmo. There is the landmine landing successfully onto Yin, who now has to walk by the gold buff. The slow coming out of Countess being piled on by the Grux, finishing it off with the smash and grab.
Quick, simple rotation coming out here from Synergy, and it was incredibly clean. They take out the priority target there of that Yin here. Obel just trying to get a little bit of CP denial, takes a few of the jungle creeps here away from Collets, and he's still yet to take his green buff, so that is still up for grabs here, should they choose to make a sort of an aggressive invade here from the side of Synergy.
Okay, and starting that off, we do see in the right lane the Kwang being pushed down and beaten on by Mort and Emrak. Danger Base trying to rotate in to help out, does land the double hive on to Emrak and Mort. He's also going to use the speed boost from the Swarm to try and get out of there. There's Kwang landing a tether onto Emrak, stuck under the tower, but the grenade will dissuade Danger Base from going in any further. I think we might have a bit of a lane swap here right now. Interesting enough, as we do see Chimera covering mid lane right now while Kwang can back off. Obelpixel now caught between the tower and the Kwang. He is going to dive as soon as the minion waves go over. It's going to erase the Moragesh off the map. They're now jumping onto the tower just before those minions dive down. And they're going to back off. Yet another successful gank just before the river buffs are spawning. On the right side, we are going to see yet another purple buff. It's going to be double purples, actually.
Yeah, I think we saw the lane swap coming out here just so that Danger Base can try and get some sort of farm. Is going to see him going back to the mid lane, but the lead already is starting to build up here on the side of Synergy. FPG has been caught out here by the Thunk and the smash and grab, and I don't think Danger Base is going to be able to actually do anything yet.
No, Danger Base does throw out the hive. However, that's a very small slow overall, but it does just enough to stop Synergy from pushing up even further, as Danger Base is looking at Mort with that very, very juicy. He wants the kill, you know. He's looking fresh. He's looking plump. I mean, Narbash is pretty plump, but hey. Over in the right lane, we are seeing the Countess pick up the kill on Yin, and we do have another team fight as Danger Base and Collets get pulled in by the smash and grab. Obelpixel using the double pain to take out Moragesh, and now our Collets is into trouble as he gets knocked back by Toklet's great landmine, and it's going to be Mort securing the kill onto the Chimera.
Aggressive play coming out from Synergy. 6-0 on the board. Nick Eagle actually took a 2v1 in that off lane that he was sitting in, managed to actually get a pick off on Yin just before as well. So looking at these points, it's at 7 minutes mark, and there's already a 4 or 5 point lead purely on kills and creep score. Double the creep score coming out here from Synergy. I feel like that has been the name of the game the past couple of matches, whereas one team has been out CSing another team by a pretty large value, and this game doesn't look to really change here. I feel like that is where a lot of these newer teams that we've been seeing have been failing.
I mean, like, right there, Chimera didn't even attempt to go for the river buff until 15 seconds after it spawned. That doesn't fly in competitive. If you're not there within 5 seconds of that thing spawning, preferably 5 seconds before, consider it not yours. Like, you need to be there secure.
The vision control's been okay from both teams. We can see some wards, but the thing is, Tokflit now, he's at a point in the game, he's at 11 points, level 6, Howitzer, a couple points ahead of everyone. He can just push this lane in as he chooses, and just, he might get caught here, but he's so far ahead, he can probably even take a fight right now.
He's also got a blue buff, so he's able to escape if anyone decides to jump on top of him. He's now rotating into the enemy jungle, trying to go over to the left lane. It's going to be interesting to see his pathing on this one. He drops down the ward. He knows no one will see him from where he's standing. Cosmo Knots gets taken out by Emrak. They don't even need Tokflit there. He just kind of goes for a stroll in the woods as his team secures the kill onto the Yin.
He's just going to take some of the jungle creeps and deny some of that Amberlink trickling and gives it to his own team, but you can see a rotation coming out here. Chimera is here, but I don't think there's anything they can really do. Chimera doesn't have access to that cull yet. It's only a level 4 Chimera who's been falling further and further behind.
And he gets jumped right on by Emrak M. Mort, who lands the thunk. Grenades go out. Tokflit secures the kill. Riverbus spawning in 30 seconds over in the right lane. Obelpixa and FPG in the jungle fighting out over a white camp, as we do see Obelpixel start to back off of that one. He doesn't see the ward that's happening, that's in the Orb Prime Pit, but it looks like he's going to secure the River buff in just a second after he clears the webcam. We have an execution?
Nagash was tanking the tower for Emrak so that he can just try and chase this kill onto Yin. Isn't able to get it. Is now forced into an engagement here with Morigesh, but the Hive is doing a lot of damage. Luckily, Topflip, using that Making Rain, will potentially keep Emrak alive just for a little bit longer. There is the R2000 rocket cleaning up the fight. Emrak getting away with just a slither of health.
And that is going to be 2 down. This time it's Emrak's team who's in a little bit... no, it's still Paradox Kings who lose 2. Almost picking up a kill on Emrak, but Topflip is there to help out his teammate. In the right lane, Nick Eagle and FPG are going to be pushing up onto that tier 2. Nick Eagle deciding to back off instead of pressuring his luck any further. Topflip now with the purple off is going to be ganking the jungler. Just waiting for Opalpixel to run in. Our call, it's not a bit of trouble. He's still level 4 against the level 7 5 and 5 enemy team. Smash and grab goes off just before he can jump. And that is going to be an easy kill secured for Team Synergy once again. Nick Eagle helping out in the mid lane as they're looking to take down this tier 1.
They're going to be rotating for the Raptors. It is the 10-minute mark. Tier 1's not too high priority here. They just want to get this point lead secured. I mean, it's already pretty far ahead. Emrak's sitting at 18 points. Cosmonaut is sitting only at 10. 8-point difference. It's going to get even bigger. It's going to become an 11-point difference, most likely, if they give all these Raptors over to Emrak, which I suspect they will, and it's going to be really rough here for Paradox Games. I don't know what they can really do outside of hoping for a mistake here from the side of Synergy. They've been playing near flawlessly. 10 and 1 on the board here. One of those being not even a kill over onto the side of Paradox Games. It's 10 and 1.
A touchdown.
Yeah, it was a suicide to the tower, which just took a little bit too many shots, but in the end managed to net them a 1-for-1 trade.
River buffs are spawning once again at the 11-minute mark. We do have black buff. It's going to be Topflip picking that up for the mana as Opalpixel gets in range to allow the R2000 to do the damage to the enemy team. Cosmonaut knows that the Grux is there. He's going to try and walk away. Opalpixel does not care. Warlord's challenge, smash and grab, Funk, and the double pain to finish the job. Yin getting caught out in her own jungle, completely picked off. Score now 11-1. Or 11-0.
While they have wards inside their own jungle, they don't have actually any wards at the entrances. And Danger Race is also getting caught out here from Morton. It's just going to be another kill to top lane. This is turning out into a huge bloodbath here. Even more kills with Chimera falling down yet again. He's been having a really rough game here. 0 and 4. Same could be said for Yin. Cosmonaut is 0 and 5. Looking really rough here, and like I said, they need to wait and hope for a mistake here. But how much can you take off of that mistake, even if they do get it?
Not a whole lot, because at the start of the game, we do see the jungler out of Paradox King not doing a whole lot. There's the crash bang boom, followed by the shadow slip, and it's going to be Mort with the basic attack to finish the kill off. Even the support is fed. Mort level 6. He's actually ahead of everyone else on the enemy team. He has more card points. When the support has more card points than an ADC, you can tell how the game's going to be breaking out.
Yeah, it's looking really rough. I mean, in less than about a minute and a half, we're going to see... 2 minutes, we're going to see the Prime Matrix spawn. I suspect that is when we're going to see another fight coming in. Mort is just like creeping around. He wants to try take another one. They're so far ahead right now. They can just look for any fights, even like 1v1, 2v2s. They have such an advantage in terms of power. They can get away with taking slightly riskier engagements where it looks to be more favorable for Paradox, but it actually is just because of the sheer leading points.
Do you think that Mort can solo anyone on the enemy team right now?
No, I don't think so. But we can already see the smash and grab coming out, along with the make it rain. Easy 2 clean pickup as well. Third going down for FPG here on the Quang as well. Most likely will fall when Thunk
I think Opalpixel, no! The heal coming out of Mort just to stop the kill from going down. They might be able to have a perfect game this game. The score is now 17-0. My God!
17-0, 13 minutes into the game. More than a 15 card point lead here on Emrak, and it's one of those deficits. It's near impossible to come back from, unless by some miracle they manage to snowball this game. But there goes Chimera yet again, getting picked off. Hasn't been able to do his role as sort of a early game aggression because it's 14 minutes and Synergy already nearing sort of the mid to late game.
Yeah, how many card points is he sitting at right now?
Yeah, 28 card points on Emrak. He's already got 4 completed items, and he's going to go potentially get a 5th one right now as well.
And there is... This is any time Paradox King wants to get into their jungle or do anything, Synergy is right there to beat them into the ground over and over and over again. Raptors are spawning instead. We're seeing Synergy's going to back off instead. Bye, because they have a few points to spend. Mort has 8 to spend, as well as Nikhil spending a couple of his own. Going to rotate over to the Prime buff, which is spawning right now. Emrak, the first one there. Danger Base is close by. But if he runs into that Twin Blast, it's going to be very bad news for the Morigesh. River buffs are spawning. We have a purple buff on one side, blue buff on the other. Our Collis is going to pick that one up. Gets hit by the R2000 rocket, taking a quarter of his health away. Just showing the exact card advantage. Toxflick going in for the landmine with the blink. Danger Base in trouble. There's the R2000 rocket. It will just miss. Nick Eagle's there with a Dark Tide and the auto attack to finish it off. That is one down, giving advantage for Synergy to get Prime if they so chose. FPG throwing down the tether on the Judgment of the Heavens to try and slow down the enemy team from doing anything else. Will not be enough. He will actually miss that as the teams are now starting to rotate over and posture for a very large Prime Helix fight. 15 minutes into the game. I don't know what Paradox can do here. But if
they can manage to somehow steal this and then maybe try to use the point advantage to get from the Prime to try, get a couple of picks while they've been tanking it, I can see a little slither of hope here. I feel like this is the fight that's going to decide it.
And there's Yin going in, popping the ult to help out, but gets blown off the map as Prime is already taken. Paradox Kings was a little scared to go in on their only real opportunity to come back into the game as they're now being chewed through. Countess with the feast, completely one-shotting FPG, who was only at half health. That's a lot of damage if you're able to do that much.
Well, if you just look at how far Toxflick is at, he's at 26 points, has got the Teleblink and a couple of Adamant Engines and a Sage's Ward, so he's pumping out quite a bit of damage in comparison to the other side. Danger Base sitting at 12 points, 60 minutes into the game, not looking great when the enemy team are more than double your points and have this Prime. And this is probably going to be a quick, clean inhibitor coming out here from Synergy.
And there is Nick Eagle taking down one inhibitor as Arcalis jumps right on top of him. But the minions are going to do the damage to Arcalis as he's about to get shot down. On the other side of the map, we do have the team sieging onto the other inhibitor, and we do have the crash bang boom going out onto Yin, who gets hit by the R2000 rocket right out of the air. Howitzer playing some skeet shooting right now. He's going to pick up a kill. Morigesh is also able to fall down as well. Teleblink going across the map. That's 2 inhibs down. This should very well be the game. Arcalis once again posturing to try and do something to stop them from pushing, but he gets blown up by Nick Eagle, and Toxflick is the one to secure the kill. They're on top of the core right now. That's going to be the game with Howitzer using the Make It Rain to do a little bit of flare just before the core falls down.
And that is game 1 of our best of 3 going to Synergy. I mean, what can we really say? I mean, they controlled the map incredibly well. They got picks throughout the board. Chimera wasn't allowed to use his snowbally nature to get kills where he could, and they kind of just took control of the game. I mean, Tok getting a 1v1 in the middle in the first couple of minutes on that Howitzer against Danger Base kind of set up how this game was going to plan out. When Howitzer can take out the Morigesh already in the first couple of levels, and that leads the capabilities for Tok to rotate to the other lanes. As we saw, he pushes out the mid lane, went to the duo, managed to get a pick over there. Mid lane can't do anything. Morigesh can't follow up because Tok can take the fight against Morigesh at any point.
Especially when he's that far ahead. Like when you play assassin heroes, they are feast or famine heroes. So you either do really good or you do bad. There's no in between, because an underfed assassin is useless. Their job is to go in, do damage, and snowball. And if they're not ahead, they don't have the card points or the levels to do that damage, and they're basically just kind of there.
Yeah, and that was kind of the thing. They kind of weren't able to contest any of the objectives either. So it's a bit confusing as to what's going to happen. And I have actually just received word Paradox Kings have forfeited their second game, and that means that is going to be it for us as well. I mean, Synergy does take the second game right off the bat by sheer default here, and that is a bit of a surprise to see that coming out from a team. And
I mean, the score was 26-0.
I mean, there's still a lot teams can learn and players can learn throughout this game, and it doesn't just even competing. Even if you think it's all a loss, you should still play. You'll learn a lot about what you can do, what you can achieve, and how much better you can grow as a team as well. Which is going to be important, because taking a loss is just as equally important as getting a win. You learn a lot from losing in these sort of games.
I think for the teams that we saw, the losing teams that we saw so far today, they didn't prioritize. They didn't even try and challenge the objectives. They just let it happen. The ward coverage wasn't really there. There was a lot of overextensions. Even for the last team, Extraordinary Gentlemen, what we saw from them is they got that one kill in the second game. They showed up. They had a presence, but they didn't do anything after that. We saw the mid laner overextend and get caught out by the jungler. We saw in this game, Paradox Kings allowed Synergy to get behind their towers, and instead of collapsing on the one person who's caught between two people and two towers, they instead let the person who's stuck there collapse onto their teammate who was at the tier 1. So things like that. We also saw one of the other more obvious ones is the jungler Chimera didn't really do anything to contest the buffs. He didn't go for a river buff. The only time he attempted to get one was about 15 seconds after it had already spawned, and at that point it's either gone or the person there has it, and you're not in a good spot. You need to be there on time. You need to be a little more on point with things. And just by watching in these games, when you go back and watch the replay, yes, you got stomped, but you watch what the other team did to stomp you, makes the big difference, and you'll be able to learn something from that at the very least.
Yeah, I completely agree. But that is actually going to wrap it up for today. Don't forget, the guys who are here, tomorrow we'll be having our semifinals and our finals. We do have Synergy and I believe Pulaski to Polski PL from our bracket. I'm not too sure who managed to make it through to semifinals on the mainstream, but that is the two coming from our side, and they were looking really strong. Both those teams won incredibly quickly in their quarterfinals, so it's going to be interesting to see how they manage to play it out and how well they're going to do.
Is that it for the entire day, like even on the mainstream?
Yep, that is it for it as well.
Oh my, so I guess we'll be back tomorrow, guys.
Yep, we will be, and
that's interesting.
It's looking. We'll be around the same time, I believe, as yesterday. I think you're going to be getting me and Shane casting tomorrow, and don't forget PCL EU4 in the match arena as well. We'll get you a $3 donated to the players, and tomorrow we'll have our semifinals and finals. It was a quick day. The round robins we didn't stream, so considering our new format, looking at what we can and can't stream, but quick games means quick stream, and that's how it's going to end up happening.
Well, it's also just the we have a bunch of new teams signing up who don't have the experience yet, right? So we see Paradox Kings, who's been around a few times, but we also see Extraordinary Gentlemen, who I personally haven't seen in a tournament yet as well. So they might not have the team coordination or synergy that Synergy has. So it's interesting to see how these goes out. If everyone's wondering where Oxy, Reborn, and Toronto Esports are, Reborn doesn't join into the PCL EU. Oxy, they're missing a team member right now, and I believe someone on Toronto had an arrangement today that they couldn't attend to the PCL, so they're out. Meaning we have a chance to see the new teams come in, and we're seeing how they go through, with Synergy being reformed. Pulaski doing such a great job in the early game. So tomorrow we get to see a very interesting game of these two teams who completely controlled their games and their semifinals and what they'll be able to do. So, but that's going to be it for today, guys. Quick games. You got to see what people are really capable of. Given that advantage, they'll keep rolling with it. Great players, and we'll see what they get to do tomorrow. Until then, I am Geronimo Jack. This is my no, he's on this side. Yeah, he's right here. Gems. This is Gems. Gems can wave. If you if you haven't subscribed yet to the PCL channel, make sure you do, because we do have the sub button and emotes, which you're seeing in chat. There's the primetime emote and the minion hype and a few other ones as well. We're pretty excited to see how that goes. Make sure you check out Matcherino. You can use the code to get a free $1 in there. And, bump up the prize pool for the teams who are playing. I will see you guys tomorrow.